yeah, I haven't done the Lions Free Agency Wars yet this year. So this is going to be the one and only episode of Free Agency Wars this year to recap. Mainly because all the draft previews took control of the channel. Just because, the Lions had so many areas of weaknesses and holes to fill that, yeah, and so many draft previews, that just took main priority over what happened in free agency. Plus, I knew the Lions weren't going to be too active in free agency, with the cap situation and everything, so I wasn't too focused about that. But anyway, even though this is long overdue, let's get started on this. And yeah, by the way, hope everyone likes the new Kyle Larson hat I got too. It's a very nice hat for sure. So yeah, got this nice 5 hat to wear on here, so let's get started on this for sure. Let's get right into the first step to one and only episode of Lions Free Agency Wars. So, of course, this has been a pretty interesting offseason. And, of course, we all know last year the NFL was able to bull rush through a pandemic no problem, despite the world going to complete shit. Because at the end of the day, the NFL gives zero fucks about the pandemic. Because nothing stops the Shield from pushing their agenda. And speaking of their agenda, we have a lot to talk about in terms of some new things that are coming into the NFL now. So, of course, as we all know, I'll show on the screen, of course, obviously. The NFL salary cap, it falls to $182.5 million for all the teams, which is down 8% from last year, so that's a cap drop of around $15 million. So, mainly any teams that are deep in cap hell, mainly the Eagles and the Saints, yeah, they're in deeper hell now. And of course, the NFL also with the NFL losing some money, with no fans in attendance for a lot of teams last year, the NFL was trying to make up for what's lost, as the NFL has signed a new media deal with their media partners and streaming services worth over $100 billion. Jesus H. Christ. God damn, that's big. Because at the end of the day, the agenda is all about that moolah, that money, 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 money. And of course, as part of this deal, the Amazon Prime also gets exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football on their streaming services starting in 2023 on a 10-year deal. And that's actually a pretty big deal for sure. Since now streaming services, streaming live sports and all that, that's starting to become more popular than cable television and all that. So now the NFL jumping right on that gun, that's pretty big for NFL to jump on that too, since that seems to be popular, so NFL's jumping right on that trend. And I wouldn't be shocked if other sports leagues like NBA, MLB, NHL, and others jump on it too. Maybe NASCAR, if they're actually smart, they'll jump on it too. And of course, as part of this deal, ABC now also gets the exclusive rights now to flex games for Monday Night Football starting in 2021. So, the good news is we're finally not going to have tank bowls on Monday Night Football. Yay! We might have them on Thursday Night Football, unless Amazon Prime gets those rights. So, at least for the time being, the tank bowls will remain on Sunday, unless they're on Thursday night. So yeah, that's pretty good. So now we'll get actually must-watch matchups for Monday Night Football and not matchups between two shitty teams. Thank God. And also, with the NFL's new deal, well, guess what? Any fans against the 17th game? Guess what? Too fucking bad. The NFL gives zero fucks about your feelings. Because guess what? We're getting the schedules being extended for one more week. Say hello to the 17th game. The NFL already experimented with this last year by expanding the playoffs, but with 2 extra playoff games in the wild card round, with great success. And now the NFL is going to make the regular season even longer. So now it's 17 games and it will be 18 weeks. So you will still have 1 bye week. And all that. And I believe preseason remains around 3 or 4 games. Which is understandable. I can live with that. And I believe, and for the 17th game, it will be an AFC versus NFC matchup, which rotates every year, depending on where you finish in your division. And of course, for 2021, the 17th game, it will be all the AFC teams hosting the NFC teams. So for this year, the Lions, their 17th game will be against the Broncos in Denver. and whatnot. I think it could be rotation to where 1 year the AFC hosts the 17th game, and then the next year it's NFC and so on and so forth. I think it was going to rotate to where who hosts what each year. I think it really depends on what the Shield's agenda is at the end of the day. And hold up, we're not quite finished yet with everything that's happening in the NFL. Because the NFL is also changing the jersey number rule. Because now, for the jersey number rules, all running backs, fullbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, and defensive backs and safeties, they can now wear any number between 1 and 49 as long as that number is not retired by the team. So yeah, we're about to have a gigantic clusterfuck. And Jeff Okuda just changed his number to 23. Eef. Too bad. So yeah, and I believe Hawkinson's going to stay with 88. And if anyone's wondering, no, number 7 is retired by the Lions. That number got retired. Also, as part of this new number deal, all linebackers can now wear any numbers between 1 and 59 and 90 through 99. So those are the number rules that have changed. The one number jersey number rules that haven't changed is the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks still gotta wear any number between 1 and 19. Offensive linemen still gotta wear any number between 50 to 79. And defensive linemen can wear any number between 50 to 79 and 90 to 99. So for QBs, offensive linemen, and defensive linemen, their jersey number rules are still unchanged. The way it should be. So yeah, this is either gonna go well with the fans or it's gonna be creating a gigantic clusterfuck. I know one person that's against this jersey number rule is Brady, Tom Brady, the fucking undisputed GOAT. Brady, you got 7 rings, just let it go and just do you, man. Let's be real, Brady, it don't matter what jersey they wear. You'll just make them look good at the end of the day anyway. But yeah, anyway, with all that NFL stuff and juicy stuff out of the way, now let's get to the Lions' actual offseason. So the Lions' offseason is going to be the start of a new era, under the great leadership of the leader of men, Dan Campbell, and the GM, Brad Holmes, with his bold, great Detroit master plan. Of course, the first part of this plan was cutting ties with Matt Stafford, as Stafford is gone to the Rams. We mentioned this trade before. However, for this trade, there was one minor detail that was missed in this trade. Apparently, there was an extra part in this trade. Also going to the Rams, because the Lions also acquired Michael Brockers from the Rams in exchange for a 7th round pick. And you're wondering, why is that such a great deal for the Lions? Apparently, it was part of the Stafford and Goff trade. So now the Stafford and Goff trade is Stafford and a 7th round pick to the Rams for Jared Goff, Michael Brockers, 2 first round picks, and a 3rd round pick. So that was actually pretty much a pretty good deal, just got a little better. Not bad. So yeah, that's pretty interesting too. In terms of the Lions' free agent signings, they weren't really active, as the Lions, as Brad Holmes and company already said that they plan to build the Lions and rebuild the team through the draft with picks. So free agency, they weren't really active. A lot of the players they signed to free agency were on 1-year deals. Mainly the players signed on 1-year deals include names like Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perriman, Quentin Dunbar, Alex Anzalone, Khalil Raymond, Tim Boyle. Now, Josh Hill, Charles Harris, Randy Bullock, and Damian Ratley were also signed, but their deals are undisclosed. Probably 1-year deals, too. And Randy Bullock is also in to replace Matt Prater, as Matt Prater has left in free agency to explore to go straight to the retirement home known as the Cardinals. The one player the Lions signed that wasn't on a 1-year deal was Jamal Williams, who signed a 2-year deal with the Lions. So, does that put Kerryon Johnson on the hot seat? We'll have to see. Now, in terms of the Lions and re-signing players, the 2 players that they were trying to re-sign, the first one they were trying to get back was Kenny Golladay. However, Golladay wanted nothing to do with the Lions. Golladay even turned down a contract from the Lions that would have gave him $19 million a year, making him one of the highest paid receivers in the game. So Golladay is gone. Lions let him walk in free agency, and he has left to go join the Giants for $18 million for 4 years. Well, he's New York's problem now. But Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, a lot of key pieces are all gone. But of course, some for the Lions healing. Here's Don Muhlbach re-signing on a 1-year deal to ease the pain along with Jalen Reeves-Maybin. But there was another player the Lions were looking to re-sign. Romeo Okwara. Originally, the Lions chose not to put him on the franchise tag and let him hit it free agency. And then the Lions were able to re-sign Romeo Okwara for a reasonable contract at 3 years for $39 million at a cap hit of $13 million a year. That's actually pretty reasonable. Hell, a lot of teams and experts said that Romeo could have gone a lot more on the open market. They were saying he could have gone anywhere from $17 to $18 million a year. But Romeo Okwara took less money just to stay in Detroit. He took a hometown discount so he could stay with the Lions and play with his brother Julian. So yeah, that's pretty good too. Also, Nick Williams takes a pay cut to free up cap space, and Jared Goff also has his contract restructured too to free up some cap space, since the Lions are pretty tight against the cap. So this pretty much guarantees Goff's going to be here for maybe at least 2 years. So Goff definitely is getting 1 year to prove himself, and this all but means the Lions are more than likely not taking a QB at number 7. So yeah, in terms of that, not a whole lot. Now the main thing with the line, I believe Dan Campbell did comment on some of these deals, saying that for the most part, these deals, these players only sign on 1 year prove-it deals to either A, play well enough to earn a bit long-term contract with the Lions in the future, or B, it's to help them get a better payday elsewhere next offseason. Or C, the option I could likely see him doing with this is sign them to these 1 year rental deals and then hope they play well enough to where at the deadline you can flip them to a playoff team as a rental and try and get some more draft picks. Because hey, if you're going to build a team through the draft, then you're going to need as many draft picks as you possibly can. I mean, just look at the Red Wings and how many draft picks they have. Just look at the Red Wings and their 22 draft picks over the next 2 years. Along with their 55 draft picks the last 5 years. God damn. Now the Red Wings got no more excuses to fuck their rebuild up. Steve Yzerman, you better hope the Yzer plan actually pulls through with this. Now you got no more excuses. If the Red Wings fuck that up, then someone definitely needs to be fired. But yeah, I could see definitely the Lions trying to flip some of these players at the deadline for more picks. Especially when your rebuild plan is to build through the draft. So yeah, not expecting too much out of the Lions though this season for sure. Now in terms of Jared Goff's confidence, because we all saw his introduction press conference last month, where Jared Goff showed some pretty interesting confidence on the Lions. Where Goff said he doesn't view this as a rebuild, and that if you do everything right and have the right pieces in place, you can have this done in 1 year. Goff. Jared, I like your confidence, but, buddy, we need to talk. I'm not sure if you know how bad the Lions are, but this team has a lot of holes. It's going to take more than one offseason to get it rebuilt. Like, especially look at the defense last year. The Lions' defense last year was fucking terrible. It was worse than the 0-16 defense. That's how bad it was. But fuck me. But yeah, Jared, like your confidence, but it's going to take more than one offseason to build it. The Lions really don't got the pieces already in place. And there's a lot of holes to build. So, that was pretty, like the confidence from Goff's press conference, but It's going to take more. Goff needs to learn this situation better. But maybe Goff who knows? Maybe Goff goes out and proves himself this year. Maybe Goff ends up in a similar situation that Ryan Tannehill ended up with in the Titans. Or maybe Goff's just a bridge QB for a couple years. We'll have to see what happens. So, yeah. And, of course, we're going to wrap this video up by talking about the Lions draft situation entering the 2021 draft. So, we already know the two main areas of need for the Lions are wide receiver and linebacker, and offensive lineman, too. Mainly, we need a right tackle. Since Dan Campbell announced that Big V is more than likely moving to right guard. Since Big V couldn't stay healthy last year, and he struggled on right tackle, so he's moving to right guard. So that opens a hole on the offensive line. Now, Brad Holmes is still interested in trying to trade down in the draft, but he did say at 7 they do have a cluster of players they're interested in. In terms of trade down reports, I've heard rumors that the teams the Lions have had main talks with are teams like the Eagles, the Vikings, and even the Patriots. Now, the Vikings, I'm not a big fan of wanting to trade down with Minnesota because that's a division rival, and you never want to make a division rival better. You don't. But if Minnesota trades up, I imagine it would be for an offensive lineman. Probably like a Penei Sewell or maybe even a Rashawn Slater trying to jump ahead of a team that wants to get like Slater or something like that. The Patriots, let's be real, the Patriots trade up, it would definitely be for a quarterback. And honestly, you want to be shocked if the Patriots trade up because the Patriots almost trade their first round pick every year. Like it's almost tradition at this point for New England. Now, Philadelphia trading up, I'm not sure what Philadelphia would trade. Who would they trade up for? I'm not sure if they would go for Kyle Pitts or what. Cause that would be the most biggest question mark what the Eagles would do there. But if Detroit wants to trade down, they got a couple partners they could look at for sure. Maybe one of those three teams. I imagine the Patriots trade up. It's probably for either trade. It's probably for Justin Fields if Fields falls. Since it looks like Fields is probably not even going to be at number 3. Since the 49ers are rumored to be looking at either Mac Jones or Trey Lance at 3. I'm not sure. Is that the real report or is that smokescreen and it's just hiding Justin Fields? I have a feeling it's going to be Justin Fields at 3 to the 49ers. And I feel like that's just smokescreen. Now for the Lions draft scenario, I think the pick is between Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons. I think it's one of those two. I think you can't go wrong with either player. In terms of I think the Lions draft situation, it really depends on what happens with the Falcons at 4. Since Atlanta's looking to trade down, but I'm not sure what Atlanta's situation is there if they have any decent partners looking to trade up to 4. If they can get a QB team to jump up there. Like, the only QB teams I think that are left to possibly trade up are either the Broncos or the Broncos and the Patriots, I think, are left. I'm not sure if the Panthers would since they just got Sam Darnold. But, yeah. I mean, if Penei Sewell falls to the Lions at 7, I wouldn't be against taking him either because we do need that because that could be the final piece to help the offensive line. If Kyle Pitts falls to 7, I wouldn't be against that either. I mean, I know some people will hate it because, you know, we just drafted a tight end a couple years ago with TJ Hawkinson. However, there are reports that Kyle Pitts could go to wide receiver. And a lot of his measurements and tests and his body size, it's very similar to Calvin Johnson, Megatron. I don't know, could Pitts become the new Megatron? We'll have to see. So yeah, that is some versatility, and that is very tempting if Pitts falls to 7. In terms of Penei Sewell, if he falls to 7, I wouldn't be against it. However, I don't see him falling to 7. I think he's going number 5 to the Bengals. I mean, the only way Penei Sewell falls to 7 is if the Bengals decide to be fucking jackasses and take a receiver over offensive line. And decide to neglect Joe Burrow's injury from last year. Because, I mean, the obvious choice for the Bengals should be Penei Sewell. Because, I mean, did you see how bad Joe Burrow got injured last year? Do the Bengals really want that again? Like, it's obvious the Burrow is the Bengals franchise QB. If you're gonna back it up and give him every tool he needs to succeed, then actually do it. So yeah, Jamar Chase, I don't know. It really depends on what happens with the Falcons, of course. Because if the Falcons don't trade, I think Jamar Chase goes to the Dolphins at 6. If the Falcons trade out of the 4th pick, I could see maybe Jamar Chase falling to 7, and the Dolphins take Kyle Pitts. That's the scenario I see. If the Falcons trade down, then the Dolphins pick, I think it's either Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase. The Lions situation, you know, there's you got Jamar Chase, you got Micah Parsons. There's even been Jalen Waddle in there along with Devontae Smith. Even Rashad Slater's got his name thrown in there for offensive line protection. I want to be against that. I mean, I know offensive line is not the sexiest pick in the world, but they are essential to a team's success, especially if you want to build through the trenches. Like, I want to be against it for sure. But, I feel like, I think the player I want the Lions to take at 7 is, I want them to take Micah Parsons, because the Lions linebacking core has been ass for so many years. And the Lions have a terrible pass rush. No, Romeo Okwara and Trey Flowers do not count as a pass rush. That does not count. The Lions need more than that on pass rush. Because the Lions cannot fucking rush past blitz the QB worth of shit. And I think you have Micah Parsons in there. Then you get someone that can help Pat rush the QB and blitz the QB and stuff to run too. So I think that fills a massive hole in terms of pass rush. But, receiver I think would be a bigger need too. Because, Golladay and Jones and Amendola are gone. We got Cephas. And that's about it. So, yeah. And so, yeah, Jared Goff really doesn't got much to throw to. All Goff really got is Cephas and Hawkinson and Swift. I mean, I could see why the Lions may not go receiver, since the Lions are looking to run the ball more and be more run heavy. So making Swift more like the number 1 piece in that offense. So, it's going to be interesting. Of course, Brad Holmes saying that the plan is best player available at 7. Hey, if I want to be against best player available, and if it fills the need, so be it. So, going to be interesting. I think what happens with the Lions at 7, it really depends on what the Falcons do at 4, if they trade down at a pick or not. Because if Atlanta trades out a pick, then the chances of the Lions getting Jamar Chase or even Mike or whatnot go up. I mean, I want the Lions to take Micah Parsons, but we all know the Lions normally don't like to take the players the fans want. And I want the Lions to take Micah Parsons, but I feel like it's going to be a receiver at 7. Probably either Jamar Chase or Jalen Waddle. I think it's going to be one of those two. I think the Lions are going to go one of those two. I want them to go Parsons or Jamar Chase, but I feel like it's either going to be Jamar Chase or Jalen Waddle. One of those two. But in draft news that we do know for sure, it's been announced that Frank Ragnow is going to be going to the draft to announce the Lions' Day 2 draft picks. So for rounds 2 and 3. So yeah, that's going to be good to see Ragnow at the draft for draft day. So yeah. And in terms of draft reactions, it really depends, because I'm not 100% sure. I might be working on draft night, like right after the pick. I mean, it's 50-50 if I'm going to do a draft reaction. Really depends on my work schedule and what the Lions do. I mean, if the Lions stay at 7, I'm more than likely going to do a draft reaction. If they trade down, then I'm more than likely not doing a draft reaction. Depends on my schedule and all that. So, my draft reaction, it's probably 50-50. I'm definitely going to do reactions for day 2 of the draft. For rounds 2 and 3. And I don't think I'm going to do rounds 4 through 7 this time like I did last year. I don't know. If the Lions announce their picks in rounds 4 through 7, I might do a reaction for it. If not, I'm probably not going to do that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing draft reaction to the picks for rounds 2 and 3. Maybe for rounds 4 through 7, depending on if they announce the picks or if they're going to do anything to announce the picks or not. Round 1, it's 50-50. But yeah, that's my Lions free agency wrap-up. On to the draft in a couple days. We're officially at draft week. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hail to Outsiders and hail to Great Detroit Masterplan. That's all I gotta say. NASCAR Heavyweight Champ, out.